All right, what is going on, guys? It is time for another episode of the Chasing Waypoints podcast. And well, it is the countdown to the Dakar Rally, and we are getting ready to get started. It is what time is it? 5:51 p.m. on January 4th. Tomorrow, January 5 is going to be the prologue. So we are doing the preview show today. You guys may notice, you can see my face. This is what I sound like when I am doing the intro. So we're going to try something a little bit different from this year's Dakar Rally, and looking forward to it. So how's everybody? Are we excited? Are we ready? I mean, we got a lot going on. So we're going to be talking in this episode. We'll have a little bit about the Gnar files. We got a special one coming up. Not going to give it away. You guys will have to listen through. Do a really quick rundown tonight, though. I'll dig in and really get to it, because that will be when these guys are waking up and getting ready to take on the 2024 Dakar Rally prologue stage. So absolutely excited for that one. It should be coming in a few hours, right? Just 5:52. Yeah, 5:52 right now. So we're gonna be looking forward to it. I don't know. What do we think? What do we think is gonna go down? This is what I look like when I say turn down the party a little bit. What do you guys think of the new intro song? I thought it was pretty fire. Look, it took me like 2 minutes. It was meant to be, so I'm digging it. All right, anyway. All right, let's get to it. 2024 Dakar Rally getting ready to get started. Alula, ground zero. These guys are working their way to it. Speaking of working their way to it, man, there's a little bit of drama for the young gun. I'm still going to call him the young gun. Mason Klein riding the Cove on the more factory than factory bike. Did an amazing job prepping that bike and working through all of the little details, burning on both ends, trying to get the thing done and dialed in for what he was looking for the Dakar Rally on the Gen 2 rally bike from Cove. So next for him was the little bit of a hang up at the border, trying to get the bike into Saudi Arabia, which absolutely sucked. But as far as we know and we have been informed, the bike is in his possession. They're already wrenching on it in the bivouac. If you're following his social media, you'll see that he's already got it all set up and working away on it. Hopefully we'll be getting another report when the thing is ready to go, doing the little lap around the bivouac, showing it off. But very, very nice. Effective Soft leading the way on that one as the title sponsor for his effort to the Dakar Rally. So we'll talk a little bit more. Hopefully we'll get a race report, or we'll get a readiness report as it progresses and we get ready to get started. So that is going on there. The other big news is Honda. Honda fielding a huge team, 6 riders in total. If my count is correct, that'd be really bad if it wasn't. But anyway, we're basically live streaming this. So if you guys are listening on Spotify and all the other podcast platforms, this is also going to be available on YouTube. There, how was that for a quick plug? Anyway, Honda, the big thing for me there, what I'm looking at is they got a huge field. Everybody is an exactly talented rider. A stage win to any one of those guys at any given time on any given stage. So that is a dangerous team to me. That is a very, very competitive team. And then with KTM announcing they were not going to be participating in the W2RC series, and they've only got a few riders for this one, including Matthias Wagner, who's out for the count. So not good on that one. It sucks to see anybody get hurt in the sport, but man down for the KTM Austrian brands, which should be an interesting way to play, considering they got a really, really strong team on the Honda guys. So Skylar Howes, the newcomer to the Honda team, again with Ricky Brabeck joining him. Very interesting on that one. It's seeing the transition from what was Husqvarna, the Austrian brands, for Skylar, and going to the Honda team from 30,000 feet up. I mentioned this last night. It feels like he's a little bit more supported with more of a team feeling at the Honda team. At least that's what I've seen on social media and kind of what it looks like and what it presents like. So maybe we'll hear from him and find out a little bit more about how the feeling on the team is. Even if the bike, like I said, even if the bikes are a wash, right? Even if the two bikes were identical, they're not. Even if they were, just the team feeling that what we see from the outside feels like he's got a better ride there. So I think that this will be a good showing for him. Obviously he is super competitive and, top 3 Dakar Rally. definitely looking for some stage wins out of him for this year's event. So other big news on the Honda side of things, you guys heard it. If you guys heard the episode with the first episode of Gnar Files with Jacob Argubright, also going to be on a Honda. A little bit different of a factory bike there, but very, very well sorted. The thing looks absolutely awesome. I'm excited to see him. Jacob has been killing it on social media. You guys will hear from Gnarly Dave on that one as we get more into the Gnarly Files or the Gnar Files. I think that that's going to be another good showing. I don't know how much more at home he's going to feel on a Honda that's been developed versus the Rally Factory replicas of late that a lot of the teams have been running that are not on the factory level, right? The factory level teams are all on the MX style frame, with the older teams or the other teams being on the old ladder style RFR frame, similar to that of the 690. So in talking with some of the people, it sounds like there are some very big handling characteristics, differences between the ladder frame and the new MX frame. Not sure if it was intended in the way that they wanted to go to, but the guys have been able to adapt, obviously, and make some results happen with those new bikes. And especially, any of these manufacturers. The Honda bike, it looks on the surface, you can see the windshield change, you can see the light change, but there's a lot more going on to it than meets the eye. So looking forward to that one and seeing what else, how the new bike progresses on that one. So we'll see how Jacob does as well on the Honda. Mason Klein, we already know. On the Cove, got a lot going on there. Shout out Sarah Price out in Dakar. I saw a post this morning from her social media. She has as a privateer, no title sponsor on that one. So very, very awesome. Interesting fact that she threw out there, $400,000 fly and ride Dakar Rally. That's what it costs. So that is absolutely crazy. And that is obviously in a UTV. So if you're not familiar with her, stunt rider, does all sorts of work. You've seen her in commercials. You've seen her doing some stuff and you didn't even know it was her, but that's Sarah Price. So you can follow her on social media as well as all of these other guys. So I don't know. What are you guys thinking? I'm thinking that we're going to see, I think this is the year we may see a Honda podium. That's it. All three riding, all three red. I think that's what I'm predicting. I don't know. I feel like I'm rooting for Skylar. Skylar's, he's overdue. Ricky has been on that top step before, but also I was thinking about this the other day, as I feel like Ricky has been a little bit, and I don't want this to be taken the wrong way, a little bit darker. In other words, I haven't seen a lot of training, a lot of this, a lot of that social media, and I know he's out there doing stuff. So I don't know. I got a feeling. Are we going to see round number 2 for Ricky Brabeck? 2024 Dakar Rally. Last year, the year before, they had a bad draw there and had a waypoint that pretty much killed the rally early on for these guys, for a lot of the top competitors. So we'll see how this one shakes out. They've got the chrono stage, which is going to be an interesting one. So for those playing the home game, chrono stage this year is basically they ring the bell. The bell rings at 4 o'clock and you've got to stop at the next bivouac where you're at. And that's where you camp. And there's from what I understand, there's 8 bivouacs on this stage. So if you're not riding with your teammate in the top spots, you may be separated by a bivouac. So the information change, the exchanging, the strategy, that kind of stuff, all of a sudden goes out the window because you don't know the guy in front of you, how much faster he was to that bivouac or not. So that's going to be an interesting one. You don't get the water boy last minute things where it's like, okay, well, I got a tire issue. I'll get, give me your tire and wheel. I'll get to the next bivouac. We'll make it happen. You can't, there's some strategy changes that I think that are going to happen with this chrono stage. So we're looking forward to it. Again, it's coming up. Like I said, it's in a couple of, 11 hours ahead. So again, now it's 6 p.m. over in Alul. I'll get it right. I got a lot of hard pronunciation words coming up soon with all of these city names, but absolutely looking forward to it. Prologue stage, really, really short. I believe it's 157 kilometers total, and only 27 of those kilometers are actually timed. So we'll see how they do it. If they're going to be doing some bonus time, if they're going to be doing something to help seed them a little bit better and avoid the sandbagging side of things. We'll see. There's a lot to come for this Dakar. We'll dig into it a little bit more tonight, but with that being said, guys, we're going to make this one a short episode because I got to get to work and we've got to get, we've got to get the rally rig tuned up. We got issues there. Houston, we have a problem. Anyway, with that being said, let's get over to the Gnar files for this first edition or second edition of it. And yeah.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in to Chasing Waypoints. This is the Gnar files with the one and only Johnny Campbell, 11 time. We got like 5 minutes or so we're gonna pick Johnny's brain about Dakar Rally and what has been going on with the team. Johnny, how are you this morning?
Hey, Gnar, it's always a pleasure. We haven't seen each other in a while.
I know I've been busy with like Baja tours and stuff like that. I feel bad I haven't done too much with the team this time, but I got the call to come down here and transport something, so I'm excited about that. And I said, you know what, let's steal 5 minutes of Johnny's time and see what he has to say about all things rally.
Yeah. So, yeah, we've been, on my side of things, we've done a lot of testing this year, and we got a new bike. Super excited about that. And the riders have been putting it through the ringer and, finding all the little things that we need to work on, and so we've got it pretty buttoned down, and so we're super excited to go to Dakar, and it's coming up. We're in the last couple weeks before everybody ships off, and this Dakar is going to be pretty crazy. They have this one stage called the Chrono stage, and it kind of goes back to like the Dakar of old when there wasn't support for like a couple days and more than a marathon stage of kind of like what we know. And so these guys will race until a certain time the following day, and then they have to just sleep at whatever said bivouac they're in. So they have like bivouac A, B, C, and D, and wherever they end up, that's where they stay.
So is that anything to like what you used to race when you raced Dakar yourself? Do they have anything similar to that?
When I did the Dakar in Africa, we didn't have a chrono stage. We had marathon stages, which means you don't have support for like 2 days. Like you leave the bivouac and your team, and then you race to another bivouac where your team is not, and then the whole next day you got to ride the bike like unprepped, unsupported. So it makes, in rally, that's one of the big things is like you have to survive yourself, but you also have to make your equipment survive for more than a couple days.
Exactly.
Without support.
And doing pits for yourself, JCR and Honda, you've always told me, you're like, hey, don't worry. The best mechanic in the pit should be the guy on the bike. How true is that for Dakar?
Well, I think Dakar, it definitely helps that the riders, if they're mechanically inclined, if they know their bike well, all of our riders are trained on different aspects about the machine, the electronics, the fuses, the clutch, things like this that they can overcome if they have an issue. But it's quite different. My Baja racers were very mechanically inclined. Like they knew the bike so well.
Yeah. And
they pre-ran on a light bike. Here, it's like some of the riders, they're more of like, I'm the athlete, and so.
Yeah, I've seen that and during testing, but yeah, for sure.
I'm the athlete. And so it's like, I don't need to know about the bike, but in reality, it's like, man, if you have a problem, you got to be able to, repair it enough to get to the finish.
Yeah. I mean, I think that comes from us being desert racers from district and hare and hounds. Like we need to get that checker flag.
Yeah. When we were taught by, Bruce Ogilvie, who was all things, planning, all things surviving. And he was just so good at helping us learn like about the whole project, the whole program, not just I'm this guy on this bike racing,
Yeah.
There's so much more to it than that.
Yeah, exactly. Switch gears a little bit. How stoked is everyone to have Skylar on the team? And how did that kind of come about? And do you feel that helps Ricky as an athlete to have someone closer to train with? Does that make more work for Gage Day prepping bikes? I mean, how does all this come into play?
Well, it's I'd say, just speaking from the JCR side or the American side of our team, it's definitely a big positive to have another rider here, because then we have more resources coming here. The riders feed off each other. So it's great to have a training partner for Ricky. He's never really had a quote unquote training partner that of Skylar's level, or similar level themselves. So
yeah,
that right there, you get a little competition going, but it seems like they're really gelling together as a team and working hard together. So I think it's a good thing for Ricky. I think it's a good thing for Skylar.
Yeah.
With Skylar coming on the team, he was really dedicated to the brand he was running before, but then he had some issues with those guys and stuff, and needed a new home. So he came knocking, and they cut him a deal, and here he is.
You mentioned Ricky riding with someone of his caliber. I remember I was making road books for you guys, I think the year we went to Dakar, and then because he was riding with Kendall back then, and we're up in the Berg, Ransburg at Marty's place. I'm always excited when they come back to hear what they say. And then I was talking to Kendall, and Kendall's like, yeah, dude, those books were good and all the landmarks. And then he goes, I was with Ricky, and Kendall's fast. I mean, we all know Kendall's fast. Yeah. He goes, and then I look up and Ricky's gone and I can't catch him. And that always stayed in my mind. I'm like, and Ricky wasn't even going race pace. For him to pull away from Kendall is saying something. So yeah, I think that really helps with, Ricky, and like you said, having someone with his speed to train with and stuff like that. So, and then what else? So your role, JCR, Johnny Campbell, your role with HRC and the rally team is like team advisor. Is that what you're categorized as? Or
I'd call myself like a utility. I mean, basically.
So you're the Gnar of Dakar.
I am the Gnar of Dakar. So, oh man, that was gonna stick. I know.
Oh man, jeez. I'm so glad I thought about that.
My resource came about with HRC and the team was that I know the desert. I know motorcycle racing, off-road. Mm-hmm. I had some rally experience, but now 10 years later, I basically coordinate the durability testing. I help them with their resources of testing and areas to go test, conditions, things like this. And then I also take care of Ricky. Now I take care of Skylar as far as when they need resource. Hey, we need help with the bike. We need help training. We need help testing, then I can help coordinate that between if it's Showa or HRC or HGA or the team. It's then I also have all my resources, my box vans, my shop, things like this that the team really utilizes. And so, like I said, I'm an asset to HRC Rally because I have all the knowledge and all the resources.
Absolutely.
Here.
How much, it's a new bike. We talked about this a little bit earlier, a few minutes ago. How much involvement did you have with putting together that new bike? And did they come to you like, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that?
I think the engineers already had an idea of where we needed to go because of the years of racing the current model that we had been racing. Mm-hmm. And that bike was really good. It was really polished because we rode the same platform for so many years. And so every year you make little improvements. And that's what we did for several years. And so the bike, was really good.
Yeah.
But with that said, like any dirt bike model, things get dated, and dated means we know where the shortcomings are in this model. We need to improve here.
Interesting.
Whether it's horsepower, whether it's the drivability, the handling. And so the engineers, they have ideas. And so they put this into, from paper to computer to on the ground in the desert. And it's okay, now we need to kind of sort out the chassis, sort out suspension, and start doing durability testing. And so basically we started testing this bike earlier in 23 and went through a series of, ideas like, this doesn't work. Let's do this, So we worked really hard on trying to get it to where it's at now. And so now it's race ready.
Nice. One last thing before we let you go, and I get on the road because I get to deliver something today. Everyone's talking about this 6-man team for Dakar. What do you think? You thinking all red podium or what? I mean, that would be incredible.
It would be incredible. I think one of the things that in the Dakar, man, you're so uncertain every time.
Absolutely.
As far as like, we have 2 weeks of racing. It's like the Baja 500 every day for 2 weeks. What can happen? Riders get injured, riders get, they might break down. There's all sorts of things that happen, might get lost. And so the more asset you have, I guess your odds go up as far as your results.
Yeah.
I guess that's the strategy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and the sixth guy that came on was Tosha Serena. He's the new guy.
He's been on fire though.
And man, he's been really good, really talented guy, soft-spoken, just.
So he's definitely not the water boy.
I would say no way, because there is no water boy per se on the team, especially in the first week.
Yeah.
Because until things get shook out.
Yeah.
And then you kind of see who's rising to the top. Mm-hmm. Then that's kind of, okay, well, guess what? This guy lost a couple hours or he had some sort of malfunction. So, now he's the support rider.
Gotcha.
But in the beginning, you have 6 guys that can actually win the race.
We do.
You let them race and let the race come to them. And then we see who's rising to the top.
It's going to be an exciting Dakar and something we're looking forward to. And we're gonna follow you and the team, your Instagram, Ricky's Instagram. Is Kendall going this year?
Kendall's not going.
Oh.
He has opportunities sometimes to go, but
I've seen that. I've seen him as down in Baja for the 1,000, as in Loretto, and I hear honk, honk, honk. I'm all, who's that weirdo? And then I look at my phone. It's like, no, it's Kendall. I just passed you. I was like, oh, yeah. We pass each other, but I haven't seen Kendall for a minute.
Yeah,
so.
and Kendall's actually he's been training AJ Jones in the
UTV.
side-by-side.
Yeah. So, what about the Motorhome World Championships? How's that looking?
We'll have to see. The interesting thing about the Motorhome World Championships is that, those motorhomes come from Europe. I never see them, so it's kind of like, you roll the dice, see what type of model and what you're going to get. So you never really know, but they usually have like some sort of 5-cylinder Fiat diesel. They're all like manual shift.
Oh,
and you're on the stop the whole time.
Yeah.
And the roads in Saudi most of them are really big open stretches. And so you go as fast as you can go, but really there's a speed limit, because each support vehicle has a device in it that tracks your speed. And so you can actually get penalized. Whether it's a monetary fine or if it's multiple, then you can, your rider could take a fine. So you can't go too fast, but the motorhomes don't let you go that fast anyway.
Gotcha. All right, cool. We'll let you go. This edition of Chasing Waypoints Gnar Files is ending. So, Johnny, thank you for your time. We're going to get on the road because traffic looked horrible coming in. Yeah. So, appreciate this time. I know you're busy and have a lot of stuff going on, and we'll talk to you soon, brother.
All right. Thanks, Gnar. Appreciate it.
All right. So, there you have it. That is the Gnar Files, episode 2. How are we gonna number the Gnar Files? What do you guys think? So if you guys are listening on Spotify, you know where to do it. Q&A, swipe up that thing, and then let me know. Or if you're on the other side of things, Instagram, DM me and let's find out how are we gonna number the Gnar Files, and what do you guys think? Who would you guys like Gnar to get a hold of next? I know we've got a couple more coming up, so you guys will be hearing those soon enough. But with that being said, guys, I think it is going to be time to get going. We got the Dakar Rally starting tonight for us, or tomorrow morning for the guys over there on that side of it. Again, they're about 11 hours ahead. So whatever time it is right now on Pacific Standard Time, subtract an hour, and that is the local time in Saudi where they are located. So I don't know. I think it's going to be exciting. You heard it from the man, Johnny Campbell. 6-bike team, no water boys in the first couple of weeks. Makes absolute sense. You got to see how things are going to shake out. Tricky waypoint. Even though they're talented riders, you get a tricky waypoint. The guy on the back picks it up, and now all of a sudden he's got the lead for the team ride. So we'll see. We'll see how that one shakes down. Again, glad to see that Mason was able to get his bike. If you guys haven't heard the episode that we did with him, rewind back. And if you're on YouTube, check out the playlist for the podcast. And if you're on Spotify or any of the other ones, roll on back a few episodes. We actually got a chance to talk to Lisa and Carter and as well as Mason. So that was pretty awesome. And I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, I think we're ready to go. What do you guys think? Let's do this. All right. Well, remember, it'll make sense when you get there. Enjoy the ride.